Welcome to this episode of the Strong Kind Podcast. This episode is with Kyle Jack. Kyle is the owner and operator of Warrior Strength and Conditioning in my hometown of Muscatine, Iowa. We had a great conversation oriented around Kyle's evolution from CrossFit to strength and conditioning and how a lot of the principles that really made CrossFit successful are still things he incorporates into the gym he currently runs now. We talk about culture and community and building a gym that people want to go to. And we also talk about fitness, strength, and health. A lot of really good topics. If you're interested in, being a fitness practitioner, opening a gym, just understanding like how there's probably a lot of ways to do things in the health and fitness space, and you can kind of find your own authentic way to do that. This was a good conversation to listen to. So appreciate you for being here. Appreciate Kyle for coming on. If you ever need help with injury or rehab or training or understanding training better, please reach out to me at dr.dave.strengthandkindness on Instagram. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. And appreciate you being here. Enjoy this episode. Peace. And you're doing new stuff. So this is Kyle. I've known Kyle for a few years. Probably like longer than that. Kyle has gotten really close to my older brother, which is friggin' funny. But Kyle, can I call you owner operator of Warrior Strength and Conditioning, which is from my hometown, Muscatine, Iowa. He also was a fellow lawn person, earlier, which that's funny because that's what I did growing up. And my wife makes fun of me because I still have no idea how to actually make my grass grow well.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah, it's a natural progression from lawn care enthusiast to strength and conditioning
Fitness enthusiast. Hey, I'm
connoisseur.
doing a better job in my yard. We got a mole. We got a freaking mole, man. These things suck. So, and I can't just go shoot it or stab it as the way I would like to. But yeah, dude. Tell me, give me your fitness journey recap. I think these are always fun because it's just why do people get into this stuff, and then what is like ultimately what makes it so important for us to like keep doing it, right?
Yeah, so honestly, I've been thinking about this a lot, like thinking about things we might talk about here. And I remember being kind of into the idea of physical training when I was very, very young. This sounds so nerdy. I don't know if I've really ever shared this, but I think it started when I was like 9 or 10. I was watching like Dragon Ball Z, the anime, and like all of those dudes were just super jacked. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And I think that kind of sparked like a little bit of it was just like the pure aesthetics of being like a strong looking guy. But then something kind of took hold at a young age. But then, I mean, I was into fitness and lifting weights and that kind of stuff when I got into like junior high and high school. I was never a big sports person. Like I played sports, but they weren't like my passion. In fact, even like my senior year, I only played football 1 year. But my senior year of high school, I went out for football, honestly, just so I could train all summer
Yeah.
in the weight room with the football team because I really enjoyed like I was like a practice player. I enjoyed playing. I enjoyed practice. I enjoyed lifting weights. I enjoyed training, and it probably came down to like just this. Um, I probably didn't know it at the time, being like a 17 or 18-year-old kid, but like there was just it felt like I was accomplishing something and moving towards a goal. And I really wasn't doing that in any other aspect of my life. I don't think I was this aware of it at that time, but looking back, I think there was something to it like that. Um, but then, yeah, like I just kind of from late teens, always kind of kept like a fitness routine and then got into the CrossFit cult when I was like
Good.
21, 22, which was
Yeah.
like I'm super thankful for it because
Yeah.
it taught me how to actually train well and train hard
Hmm.
and kind of rode that for 10 years or so. Eventually took over ownership of the gym. I didn't start the gym that I own now, but took over ownership of it in 2016 and then have been growing that ever since.
So you mentioned like CrossFit around 20 to 21.
Yeah.
What year was that? How long ago was that?
Yeah, so late 2012 is when I
Okay.
got
Yeah.
introduced into like CrossFit proper. Probably a year or two before that, 2010, 2011. I had heard of it, but didn't really understand it. It wasn't until I stepped into the doors of the affiliate that I actually got like some direction and coaching and really kind of understood the methodology. I think I started doing CrossFit classes in late 2012, and in June or July of 2013 had already done my L1 and was like into the starting coaching and that kind of stuff. So that went pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think my journey and your journey somewhat similar in that regard. Of like, I in high school, you still there? I think
Yeah.
you're still there.
Yeah. Oh, do I look weird? Am I not moving? All right. No, do we have connections issues? I got internet. I got you.
You're still super choppy.
No.
You got that. You got that Louisa Muscatine internet down there.
We're in Muscatine now. Do you hear me?
Oh, you are you? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're back. It's just kind of choppy, and
Okay.
like Riverside will clean it up. Like, so I just don't know how good. Like, but you were kind of chopping up a little bit, so we'll
Gotcha.
see. But
Okay.
anyway, we'll get this footage going. Uh, but like, yeah, man, I was the same. Like, I love sports and I love being part of a team. But I also just like I was almost just like a baby deer in the weight room. Like, and honestly too, my other thing was just like my ego was like, dude, you just need to freaking lift lighter and like get more comfortable in here in the weight room and stuff, and like stop judging yourself for the fact that like you're not throwing around, like 135 on power cleans easily or any of that stuff, right? And but then I went to the Muscatine Y, and I like, because I found like I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. I don't know like where that came from, but like same reason that I think boys just want to do badass shit and
It's a young
blow
boy
stuff
thing, which
up
is
and shoot
super cool.
guns.
Like I can relate to that for sure.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, also like I was product of September 11th happened, when I was like in sixth or seventh grade. I think seventh grade, and it's like, oh, like there's a big patriotic surge, and it's also like these dudes are badass. And then I played video games that they were badass, but then I saw one of them's like, I can't remember who it was, but it's like, yeah, like CrossFit is what I do for fitness. And I think I went to the Muscatine Y, and I did Fran at like 75 pounds, and it took me like 45 minutes, like, and then it's like, oh my God, this is hard and I suck at it. But it was that like, I'm working towards something, right? And now as an adult, it's like, yeah, like, we have to strive, we have to create structure. But like, yeah, then that was also, I think my first exposure was right around 2009 or so to CrossFit. And it was just like hard, but you got better at it, right? Because it's almost so hard that like any amount that you show up, you're going to get better at it, right? And then I think I just fell in love with the fact that it wasn't like, hey, just go to the gym and just do like the machines, right? Or just be a runner. It was like, yeah, like blend together a lot of this stuff, right? Which, in hindsight is like what a lot of good training is just like, just manage what you're doing well, right? And that's where we often go wrong too, is we just beat the crap out of ourselves. So when you started going and got involved with Warrior and then took it over, like how have you evolved over the past, how long did you take it over, Kyle?
It's been 10 years now.
Yeah, that's wild, right? So you're strength and conditioning now, which I
Yeah,
think we can also kind of get into that, right? But
yeah.
how have things evolved for you?
Well, I mean, when I took it over, it was very much backing up a little bit. I think because you're kind of talking about what pulls you into the CrossFit. I think there was kind of it was a fitness revolution. It was basically like, hey, what we're doing is more superior than what 99% of the people are doing. And they were correct. Like most people just simply weren't training hard enough, pushing loads heavy enough, doing full range of motion, heavy compound lifts, the things that actually will get you stronger and make your functional fitness to say actually better, right? Like there was a lot of good points about people basically do accessory programs as like their main lifting. Like I'll go do some dumbbell curls, I'll go do some leg extensions, maybe hit some tricep extensions. And that really was like what people thought fitness was. And then turns out if you just have like everyday soccer moms do some relatively heavy squatting, full range of motion, that kind of stuff, they see really good results really, really quickly. So that instantly pulled me in. It was just like, being a 21 or 22-year old, I feel like I just figured out like the secret to all fitness. And then like, there's a little bit of like, we're better than you. This is kind of the elitist mentality. And it worked for me when I was 22 years old and
Yeah.
kind of like I figured it out, you know? Um, but so when I took over ownership, we were very diehard CrossFit, like, followed the methodology, watched it as a sport. Everything was about how can I go faster? How can I improve work capacity? Like all of the things. It was all about your times, your rounds and reps and an AMRAP. Everything was scored and gamified. And I ran that for 4 or 5 years and I loved it. I was 23, 24, 25, 26 years old. And it worked really well for me. But as far as like a business model for keeping the gym open and keeping people fit and healthy and not injured, like the writing was kind of on the wall that like, hey, this isn't what everybody's into. And really, when I look at it as a whole, out of 100 members, there's like 15 people who are really into this. And then the rest of the population was kind of like, hey, I'm just here for fitness. And like, it just, as I started to mature, I started to kind of like realize that. So, um, we kind of moved into more of a well-rounded strength and conditioning program, and quit worrying so much about like the competitive side of traditional CrossFit.
How have people responded to that, like as a community? Like, because one of the reasons I just wanted to bring you on and talk because I think what my perception, and I think my perception in your case is reality, because a lot of times perception isn't always reality, but like, is that, and I also know like my brother, my brother's also just like, he's a lot like me. I mean, we're covered in the same cloth. Like, high functioning anxiety that needs to be released in some form. Right, like,
Yeah.
but also probably on some sort of spectrum here, if we're being really
Yes.
honest. But
Which is perfect. Like you know what? I have a whole theory about that, but we'll save that for another conversation.
but
Let me just it's good. All of my friends and people that I get along with well have like a little touch of something.
oh, I mean, and like we're humans. I mean, like just to get a little tangential, we won't go too far down that rabbit hole because I
Yeah.
do want to get back to like why have people responded. But like variability in humans is the norm, and like for some reason, we all still project these like we're gonna fit into these same boxes type of stuff, and it's like no, we're like we all have just shades and gradients of all these things, and that's cool. Like that's literally what makes things fun. Like knowing my brother, he's gonna push people's buttons. And some of like a good environment is like knowing that he doesn't mean any harm by it, right? Or like philosophical, he probably means some harm, but like these philosophical differences don't divide us. That's like literally what I read this a while ago. It's like the price of community is being annoyed, and that's okay, right? Like,
Yeah.
but how has your community responded to it? Just the change, because man, that was always my biggest thing. It's like I loved CrossFit. I loved the style of training. It also proved to me that like a lot of shit works. Like you can literally be like, hey, we're gonna do 100 wall balls, and then we're gonna do sled pulls, and then we're gonna do X, Y, Z, and it's like okay, and like if it's fun and it's challenging, like it works. Is it smart all the time? Is it optimal all the time? No, but those things are also kind of bullshit, right?
Yeah. Like if you get somebody doing a program that they love and they're working hard and they're showing up all the time because they love it, like that's going to be 10 times better than the optimal program that they don't love and that they're not putting enough intensity into and it's hard to be consistent with. So the gamification that CrossFit brought with like scores and that kind of stuff, like it does drive people. It just if those scores and that competition is kind of like the number one driver, it won't be sustainable forever. You might be able to sustain it for 5 years, but you're not doing that forever. At some point, you're going to be like, dude, I want to train and like feel good. Um, so yeah, to answer your question, I mean, dude, we've been through like so many iterations of this. This wasn't just like we did 4 years of pure CrossFit and then one day I was just like, we're done with that. We're gonna, like we kind of like I would dabble, I would kind of change programming, kind of change like how we push our forward facing brand to people. Like just I experimented for lack of a better term. So it hasn't been this like black and white change. It was just like this evolution. Every so many years, it would kind of be like, oh yeah, we haven't really done that for a while. And like, it's been really cool to like look back because it's like even the culture within our gym has changed, but it wasn't like one decision. It was just me using past experiences to slowly change how we approach coaching, how we approach training, how we approach programming, and just learning from the things that didn't work. So yeah, I mean, there were people who weren't. Are you asking about like dropping the affiliation or the actual like way our gym operates?
Really care about like dropping the affiliation per
Yeah,
se. Like
there's,
I mean,
I have something on that that you might find interesting from like
I
a psychological level.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some people didn't like it. Some people wanted to do like traditional CrossFit programming, and some of those people left. And I hope that they get what they need. I mean, you know, there's just different types of training for everybody. But overall, this has allowed me to run a more sustainable business that I think helps people see better results long term.
I do want to get your like yeah the maybe the psychological piece of dropping it. I think that was one of the things too. It's like, you know, you attach yourself to this brand, right? And this brand's gonna evolve. This brand's gonna change. Like I remember looking at like main site workouts a long time ago. And then I remember like the first CrossFit games and honestly like the first 5 iterations of the CrossFit games and just how much that changed the perception of what CrossFit was, right? Whereas like in those early days, it was just like, yeah, you're gonna go 3 days on, 1 day off. You're gonna do you're gonna do shit that you just didn't do. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're gonna go into the gym and practice handstands for 30
L
minutes.
sit, L sit the handstand, like
Yeah,
all of that
yeah,
stuff. And like, dude, you nailed it with like what the CrossFit games and CrossFit as a sport has done, has skewed people's minds to what they think CrossFit is. People think that CrossFit is like all these just like metcons, metcons, metcons. So like if I program true CrossFit, dude, people would leave the gym because they're not gonna come in and work on L sit to handstands for
yeah,
40 minutes a day. But like
yeah.
that's what the original CrossFit programming was. Like scroll back on main site back to like 2004 or 5 or whatever, and it was going to be some weird stuff that I
Yeah.
don't honestly think people would enjoy that much.
Well, I mean, even just like, I mean, dude, 2 days a week, I go to a field and I just fucking run. Like, I do plyos and I skip. And, like, you know, I probably, like, some of this is just me also just learning to manage, like, my workload and stuff. And, like, that gives me the hit of movement and I feel good and XYZ, where I would traditionally just, man, I wouldn't even say it's overtrain. I just, do too much in too short of a period of time and then I like feel beat up and I don't feel good. Like when I go to the field and I just sprint with my dog and jump and like kind of move, there's structure to that and I am trying to get faster. But like, you know, people don't want a workout to take 15 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes. They're like, I got to be in there for my hour or XYZ. And I don't want to say people don't want to. It's just I would say you're probably on it where 75% of people need some form of community, they need some form of parameter, and then they just want to be told what to do and like get out, right? Maybe it's not 75%, but like yeah, what was your psychological take of dropping the affiliate or changing there?
Well,
Because I also from a business standpoint, it just stops being relevant. Like I don't want to pay you whatever it was
so
to thing.
that's what it boils down to right there. That's the reason that we de-affiliated was just simply I think my $4,500 is spent better by like me taking that money I would have paid CrossFit and working on my local brand or buying equipment or something. I just think the money is better spent at this point. But you actually touched on the point I was going to bring up is that we had people who identified themselves as CrossFitters for 5, 6, 7 years, and when we dropped the CrossFit affiliate, like I think some of those people had a bit of an identity crisis,
Yeah.
to be honest. I think I did to a little bit of a degree, but it was easier for me to deal with because I kind of like was the one making the decision. Where I think some of these people who were just members felt like something was kind of like taken away from them, and I think that they had a hard time being somebody who is into fitness without identifying as a CrossFitter. And that sounds wild to me now because I'm so far removed from it. Um, but that was an interesting kind of psychological thing that I noticed.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's like, dude, oh man, our identity and like our personality and these things, like, so I am not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I do a ton of just like trying to understand human behavior and psychology and these things. And it's like people's identity and their ego like they literally need to attach to something, right? Like, and yeah, I was the same way. Like I'm a CrossFitter now. Like, because I was a runner and then I'm a CrossFitter, and there's probably some amount of tribe, right, that you're associated with, and common language, you know. And that's good. It's like these things are not good or bad, but like yeah, like when you move from we're a CrossFit gym to hey, this is good old strength and conditioning. Then there's like we need to find some other identity, right?
Well, what
And
was kind of interesting is at the time when we de-affiliated, um, and man, this is a deeper conversation of like, I don't even really know what CrossFit is. Like, I can't, somebody can regurgitate to me like it's functional movements performed at high intensity, constantly varied functional movements. It's like, that's just regurgitating. Like, let's break into that. And you actually tell me what that is. Um, but yeah, I lost my train of thought a little bit there, but
I think it is that's dude. That's also just the deeper nature of all this stuff. It's like
yeah.
what is like I just hashtag and say good training all the time, and like what does that even mean? I'm like it looks pretty good to me. Like, but it's like, are you moving in the direction of your goals? Right? When you run a community-oriented group training facility, it's like you know. A guy who's, let's say, wanting to be a high-end track athlete, probably not gonna like either you're gonna have to work with them and be like, yeah, we got to manage this differently a little bit for you, or like this gym isn't for everybody type of thing. And I think that's always one of the things I had a hard time with is like I wanted to almost make a gym that was for everybody. It's like, dude, you can't.
But
You
if
have
it's
to
for
like
everybody, it's for nobody.
exactly right.
I remember when I lost my train of thought. I remember what it was. When we de-affiliated, we were still running like I guess I would call it CrossFit programming. Like I was buying programming from I think it was like Misfits Athletics affiliate programming at the time. But when we de-affiliated, we didn't change anything about our programming. So like essentially the day-to-day operations and the programming and what people were doing in the gym was exactly the same for like a year after we de-affiliated, but people still had that psychological thing. Like I
Yeah,
would get it. That was kind of the missing piece to the story about the people being attached to that as their identity is that day-to-day operations and their experience in the gym didn't change one bit at all. It was just the name, and watching people struggle to get over that was weird to me. Like I do get it, but also it was like it was an interesting psychology lesson.
yeah, dude, we are such interesting freaking creatures, right? With like, I mean, like basically everything's a cult. It's just like
Yeah.
the true
Well,
defense.
it's tribal. Yeah. You
What's
feel
well,
good. You feel good
there's a
when you're
tribe.
surrounded by a bunch of people who share something common with you. You feel like you belong. And that provides you some sort of security. And
Yeah, and again, it's just what it is. It's like I think the true definition of if are you in a if you're in a cult is if you can call yourself a cult, then you're not a cult. But if you're like, no, we're not a cult, then you're probably a freaking cult, right? Like, so moving towards just like okay, me and you, I think we just have this mutual understanding, like like fitness, strength, movement, it's super freaking good for humans, right? It's almost like commonsensical to us at this point, but there's still a lot of people that just like struggle, right, to get there, because it's hard. Let's be honest, it's just hard. But like, what are the things when people come in and they're maybe new or they haven't really trained before or they used to train and it's just like, what are the things that you see? I know you. I don't know if you still do the commitment club. I think the commitment club was like super powerful. It's like because humans don't like breaking chains. Like we like to once we get that chain going, we want to keep it going, which is good and bad. But like, what are the things that you see help people? Kind of again identity oriented. Move from like, hey, I don't know if I'm an exerciser or if I'm into fitness. Become more like, yeah, I show up, I work hard, and I get good results type of mentality, if that makes sense.
man, I don't know. What like is there things that I'm doing that I'm trying to facilitate, or what's the question?
I think that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, like the first and foremost thing, like you start a gym because you want to have like a positive impact on people's like health, right? And like you're creating that space. Like there it is like, these I don't know if it's like the third space, like your home,
Yeah.
your work,
And then you got
uh
one more spot.
one more spot.
I
We
think
only
we,
get
I
three.
think, I think we're that spot for a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. And what like so somebody goes like okay, let's talk about my brother. My brother's a good example. Didn't exercise, for like I don't know how many years. I would say he was probably feeling pretty out of shape when he first. He literally started. I had barbells that were like in my storage at his house. I think he
Mhm.
took them to the farm that he
Yep.
utilizes, and he started just doing random shit. Like I think he called something like a dick up, well, like which is very up my brother's alley. But he's now from what I understand, he's religious. There 8 a.m. class, 5 6 days a week. What is it about it for that type of guy that is meaningful?
Well, he might be a bit of an outlier because of his habitual life. Like he's definitely a creature of habit. But I mean, specifically for him, I think it's just like he sets an appointment and this is just what he does every single day. Um, and I think that's an outlier. I think we got to talk about we got to talk
Okay,
about
so then if that's an outlier, then
yeah.
who is it for the people who are not like him? Because that makes sense. Like I know my brother, I know my makeup, I know my family. Like
Yeah,
pretty
man.
much,
Don't you just think I think it's just so different for everybody.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if I have a good answer for this. Like, I mean, I think I'm still trying to figure it out. And I think I used to put a lot of time into thinking about this kind of stuff. And after so many years of bringing new people into the gym, one or two a week or like, let's say like three or four a month for years and years, like, I think I just kind of figured it out. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I am just creating workouts that I think are good workouts for the majority of the population. I'm trying to set a culture within the gym that is fun, but also like has a hey, when it's time to work, it's time to work, and we can kind of dick around and bullshit between sets and that kind of thing. It's just like I've been driving this culture. And so, like, dude, I just let people come in, they try the gym, they try the class, and like if they enjoy it and they think it's for them, then they sign up. And if they don't, they don't. And like that's about as good of an answer as I have. Maybe I just don't know. Like,
No, that's fair. I mean, I like it's easy to kind of put these archetypes like there's usually like a kind of again three ingredients, like some amount of pain and frustration. Like not physical
yeah,
pain purely, but like that could be
yeah,
part of it. I wish more people understood that like if you have physical pain, like and you haven't really been doing anything, if you haven't really been doing anything, the answer is go to the gym. Like start moving. Make it easy, right? Now, if you're super high output and you're having pain, it's like probably learn to modulate your workload and figure out some different stuff and whatnot. But like there's usually and then there's also just frustration, psychological pain, right? But then there's like an element of knowing enough, like knowing that you need external support, knowing that you need community. Maybe you like to go to the gym, but like there's just something missing, right? Like a lot of times, like man, yeah, when I was doing workouts in the group setting, like I train alone mostly because it's just convenient and I like it, and I also do whatever I want to do, kind of type of mentality. But I have never pushed myself as hard as when I was in like a class with somebody that was about the same or a little bit better than me or XYZ. Like it just takes you to another level, right? Um, so it's like kind of the pain or just knowing that you need the change or you need something. And then like probably like once you get there, like making some friends, like having people that they're like, dude, number one thing that people really seem to gravitate is that somebody else cares if they show up, right?
yeah, dude. That's honestly probably it. Is it's just like the group mentality of like, hey, all these people were there, and it's not like they're expecting me the next day, but it's kind of like unspoken, like, hey, you've been here, you're gonna keep coming, like. And yeah, I mean, I just think that there's all sorts of different types of people who gravitate towards different types of motivation. Like some people just, you get them hooked that first day when you get their abs sore for the first time. They've never had sore abs. And like something as like simple as that, they'll be like, oh, this is how this is like a feeling I've never had before. Other people don't give a shit about any of that stuff. And they're just like you said, wow, there's actually somebody here waiting for me to coach me through this workout. And that feels good. I've never experienced that before. And then there's like everything in between. Hey, I'm new to town and I don't really know anybody, but these 15 people at the 8:30 class seem kind of cool. Like they're a little bit crazy, but now I know some people in town. So that's kind of what I go back to. Like, I just think I quit trying to be everything to everybody. I write workouts that I will enjoy doing because I do every single workout that I program. I write workouts that I enjoy doing that are going to lead to kind of general fitness goals, which are my goals. And anybody who wants to come along for that ride, you're more than welcome to. And over the years, we've got the right people in the gym and they attract more of the right people and they support the right people that are there. And it's kind of just this machine that gets going. Now, this isn't how it's always been, but I'm speaking from a spot of like where I'm at now.
Yeah. Well, and I know you've worked with mentors and like I think you've worked with like business coaching and a
Yeah.
variety of different things, right? Because like it's if you were going to, I think you have to see that it can work for somebody else sometimes to then like make your own flavor of it, right? And like business is hard, but the number one thing that people do to not be successful, I think is like understand what you're trying to do. Like, people need to get fitter. Like people need to have a space. I think everybody thinks that fitness is going to change, or XYZ, even in my realm, like physical therapy and rehabilitation, and also just I will say most of it is just me coaching people like, oh, artificial intelligence is here, like you're going to be out of a job because it's like no, like people still need other people to help them with this stuff. And I understand a lot of this stuff that somebody could go get like a Google template and it's like they still aren't going to run it really very well. Like even now, like most of what I do in the best way possible is just help people be consistent and not like if I have a power lifter who wants to get like I'm not an amazing power lifter, but I do coach some really fucking good power lifters. You know what makes them different? They don't get hurt. They fucking love powerlifting.
Yeah.
And we just like I pull them back when they would typically keep pushing and the signs are like you shouldn't keep pushing for a little bit. Like we need to change something. But like you touched on something just I think what a lot of people do is they try to cater to everybody or they don't trust that like what they're doing is good enough to some extent, right? And you mentioned like I think me and you talked about this before. It's like I think you've said this to me. I go back to it a lot of times like I am like 16 weeks away from being able to kind of do a marathon. Being able to do a marathon. I might not run super fast, but I could do it. Like I could prepare myself. I'm 16 weeks away from a powerlifting meet, right? I'm 16 weeks away from doing some form of a CrossFit competition if I wanted to.
That's the
Again,
mentality that I don't remember telling you that, but I must have. Like I don't know if I use the term 16 weeks, but like that's exactly that's how I train is like I want to be at 85 to 90-ish% of my fittest self at all times. And just keeping that in mind lets me back off just enough to where I'm able to train every day and feel good. Um, like if I want to dial anything in, I can just bias that for depending on what it is, maybe just a couple weeks. If it's a bigger, loftier goal, maybe it's a couple of months, but I'm physically ready to like take on anything. And if I want to go in a different direction, I just need to bias that a little bit.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's like the thing I'm seeing just High Rocks is blowing up right now, right? It's like High Rocks is just capitalizing on what CrossFit went away from was making this shit really inclusive by
Mhm.
having it be like here you're going to run and then these are pretty much 8 skills that are actually pretty easy from a skill standpoint
Right.
to perform in a high intensity manner in a competitive and gamified manner,
Yeah.
right? Like which is cool. Like to be honest, CrossFit just got to the point where it's like if you want to be comparable at all, you just had to get so good at so many freaking skills.
Yeah.
Like, and if you don't want to do it full time, and even then, if you do it full time, it's not that rewarding from a financial standpoint.
Right.
But I mean, it is like that was what original CrossFit. We're gonna pivot away from CrossFit here in a second, but like that was what original CrossFit did well was just expose you to a bunch of stuff and say, yeah, you can do this hard, you can get better, and it's gonna be advantageous to you being able to train on a regular basis,
I don't
right?
know how much you follow this stuff. Like I still enjoy watching CrossFit as a sport and like it even though I'm not like competing in CrossFit anymore, like it is still the biggest kind of sport in the arena that I'm in. Like I don't really watch High Rocks. I'm not that interested in that. Like there's some fun stuff you can learn from continuing to watch CrossFit though. And there's a bit of, I don't know if you follow any of this, but there's like a bit of drama going on right now with people talking about kind of this, how CrossFit has kind of like pigeonholed itself into like basically just the same workout mixed up and have completely gone away from things like L-sit to handstand, vertical jump testing, super short sprinting, that kind of stuff. And how they've really just kind of skewed into this like 12-minute Metcon, either lightweights or heavyweights. Like it's kind of all just becoming a gray thing that the same type of athlete wins over and over and over again and doesn't give like any outliers.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you remember Chris Spieler? Remember that little
Yeah, so that would be a
that
perfect example, right? It's like, hey, what about who can do 50 unbroken strict pull-ups? It's
yeah.
like you don't need to be able to do that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah, yeah. It
But
was
yeah,
almost like who now it's become, I mean, it's kind of become regression to the mean type of
that's
like,
exactly what it is.
right? Which is
Yep.
wild because it's like, yeah, because that dude would win something and then he would get his ass kicked at something else, right?
Right.
And now it's like who can just be good enough at everything to
The,
gamify that,
the
right?
the paradox is that the general scope of what CrossFit is now is actually a very specific skill set. So you're supposed
That's
to be
exactly
like
right.
yeah, you're specialized in being a generalist.
Yeah.
And it should not be, you should not be able to do that if the methodology of traditional CrossFit's being followed.
Yeah, yeah. So, dude, it's wild because like that's just so much of what a lot of things boil down to. But let's pivot a little bit because I do want to talk about just well, first and foremost, you have a daughter, correct?
Hmm.
How old is she?
And she is 2.5, and we've got a boy due in early June.
Dude, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have something coming in September, so we don't know yet, quite yet, but it's
I didn't
very
know
early.
that.
So yeah,
So you
well,
have,
nobody really knows. You're gonna hear it
oh,
here first, a lot of people. But yeah.
hey, congrats.
But dude, it's so crazy. I was just literally talking about this, like being a parent. I always wanted to be a parent. Like I wanted a kid, right? I wanted kids. Like and you don't have to have kids X Y Z. But like I read this like a couple weeks ago, and it's like nothing. It's very easy to explain the hard of parenting, but nothing can freaking explain like the good. Like when I like this little guy is super into Moana right now, and it's like he just wants to watch Moana and like snuggle, and it's like yeah, this is incredible. Like this is so fun and awesome. Or just him going out and playing. Like it's a new lease on life from a curiosity standpoint, right? Like that kid is so curious and he's just so present and so playful. It's like amazing if you can just sit there and grasp it, which basically means be off your phone, play
it
with the kid, right?
it makes me jealous to watch our
Dude,
daughter 20. Like it makes me jealous to be like, dude, how can I find that much like joy or just interest or like all of that in like the most basic little things, you know? It's like obviously they're not basic and little to her, they're very new experiences, but I completely agree. It's so fun to watch.
well, it's there's an element of like practiced like presence, right? Like whereas it's new to them and that's why they're getting the hit of whatever chemicals it is. But for us, it's
We're
like
getting
just
squirts of
watching.
dopamine.
Yeah, right. And where it's like for us, it's like I'm trying to learn to just be present again. And obviously, like, I don't really beat myself up for being like a human in these times. Like sometimes I am like I'm not really scrolling, but I'm on social media like while he's playing, and I'm like, yeah, put that down. And I also just honestly, the other thing is I bought one of these brick things. I don't know if you've seen them, but like you can literally brick your phone so that like you can't use your apps, and then you actually have to go back to it. You have to unlock your phone at a physical location, which is really
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah.
Um, but I also send a lot of memes and like jokes and whatnot. But yeah, man, it's like kids, and it's so cheesy. It's almost I kind of try not to go too far down the cliche, but like I want to freaking train to be able to play with this kid, right, and be physical. And like I love my parents. My parents are incredible parents. But the one thing that just kind of started to happen is they just weren't in shape when I was 8, 10, 14, right? Like, and again, love my dad, but like my dad wasn't having a good time throwing a ball with me or anything like that. He would do it for a little bit, but it was almost like I can't keep doing
A bit
this
of a
type of thing.
chore,
Yeah,
like
right.
physically, which
Yeah.
makes it hard to do. Yeah.
So what has, are there any reflections on just being fit for parenthood? And again, that's probably like a little bit like cliche bullshit, but like what have your takeaways been?
There's a reason cliches are cliches, though, like,
True. Yes.
um, no, that aspect hasn't really crossed my mind because, like, I think I've already had the mindset for like so long, like, this fitness thing is going to be something I do in some capacity for a very, very long time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see
Yeah.
this ending. So, like, having kids now, I'm not like, oh, I got to stay in shape for them because I already was of the mindset of like, this is going to be something I'm going to do anyway. I will say maybe a little bit of an aspect of like, hey, maybe I need to tone some things down. Um, like I had a pretty good like back, not injury, but like I really strained some back muscles like 3 months ago. And that made my life harder than it needed to be. Like it made it harder than before I had a daughter. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm thinking, we're gonna have another baby here. If I were to injure myself or like really do something like that again, it actually becomes a pretty big inconvenience for my entire family if I have to kind of like lay on the couch for a couple of days. So that's kind of in the back of my head. But as far as like staying fit, I think that was already in my head. The thing that it has made me do, especially now that Gwenny's getting just a little bit older, 2.5, and like she's in the copy, do whatever you do, say whatever you say phase, is like it's kind of reassured something I've always thought about, but didn't really feel like I had the right to speak on until like I actually had a kid. And like it's that like kids are gonna do what you do, not what you say. And so like just having her grow up in an environment where her parents prioritize health and fitness. Like she goes to the gym or she sees Peyton. Peyton has like a little dungeon gym in our house. And like she goes in there and watches mom do dumbbell thrusters and sweat and breathe heavy. And like that's just going to be so normal for her that she's going to think that's just like what you do several times a week.
Yeah. That's super powerful. And it's the same because even now with like one kid, I still don't even necessarily know if I can speak on like, but it is like being in shape, being fit, has made it easier to do the hard thing of being a parent. It definitely helps. It has benefit for me like cognitively when we're tired and like we got like this little guy sleeps. It really boils down to he sleeps really good, so it's not that crazy hard. But also just like yeah, like the seeing it's like yeah, we know this. People don't care about what you say, and like kids are a prime example. They're just gonna do what you have provided as an example when it comes to behavior, when it comes to fitness, when it comes to like nutrition, that type of stuff. It's like your relationship with food rubs off on them. Um,
Yeah, it's
and
so mind blowing to me. Like, we used to do nutrition coaching and we moved away from that a while ago. Haven't done it for years, but like, that it was always mind blowing to me when people would be like talking about how like they're basically making complete separate dinners and things for their kids because their kids won't eat the food that they eat. And I'm like, dude, you did that though.
yeah,
And but at the time I didn't have kids and it felt weird to like not lecture, but like give that advice to somebody. But I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure I know the problem. It's like those kids grew up eating dino nuggets from age 1 till 6. And now when you decided that you wanted to make a healthy lifestyle change, like they're not on board because they got used to a thing.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just like,
Well, even just how you as a parent approach that too. It's like some dino nugget's not at the end of the world. Your portion size is X, Y, Z, and like obviously eating whole foods, vegetables. Like, but it's just that kid. You're gonna eat your vegetables. He's 18 months old. Like you're gonna eat your vegetables. We're eating our vegetables in front of you, right? Like,
well, is it even something that you have to like talk about? If
no,
it's,
no.
you
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
yeah,
If it's just something that you and mom always do, like that's just what they're gonna think is normal until
yeah,
like, until they hear until they're watching some show or some cartoon or something that like makes it think that kids aren't supposed to like eating healthy or eating
yeah,
vegetables or something. And
yeah.
now that seed's planted in their head.
Dude, we should go. That's a good route to kind of take things a little bit. I do want to get to just you playing guitar because I see you've taken up guitar, which I
Okay.
think is dope. But we'll talk about that. But like, dude, yeah, like the level of what's it called? self-fulfilling prophecy,
Yeah.
right? And just like cognitive, like bullshit that we all do this, but
Dude,
you
you gotta constantly be like, where did I get this idea? Why do I think that? Where did this
yeah,
come from? Because like you'll let one little seed grow to something, and then, like you said, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Um, yeah, you gotta constantly be checking your shit on like, where did I get this idea? Is it even a good idea? Is it even true? Have I made it true when it wasn't true?
yeah, and like because I mean, dude, the I one of my favorite books is called How Emotions Are Made. It's by a neuroscientist. Her name's Lisa Feldman Barrett, and basically, it's like what your brain is, and this makes sense when you start to like kind of understand how we utilize energy. But what your brain is actually doing after you're like a kid, you've kind of learned where it's just pattern recognition, right? And you're just trying to make things fit. So basically, the story you're telling in your brain if is like it's easier if it's just you're making it true. So it's like, yeah, I'm just not a fit person. It's just easier to fall in line with the activities that make you a not a fit person. Where it's like, and that's one of the big parts we kind of touched on is like change is hard because at some point the identity that you have to switch your behaviors, you have to switch your. This is just such a simple and like silly reflection, but it's like you are what you do, not what you say you're going to do, right? You are like if you want to change, like if you want to eat better, you can plan all day. You can think about it all day. But until you like freaking make the meal that is meat and broccoli and some starch, and then you don't go to the cupboard at 8 o'clock at night, you haven't done anything, right? And it's like the only way to change is to actually freaking change, right? The only way to get better at like a lift is to get yourself to the state where it's challenging enough that you kind of start to question like, am I going to be able to do this? And then you figure out how to do it, right? And people just give themselves, it's not conscious, but it is. I mean, to some extent it is. I think the better you get at making it conscious, the better off you are. But it's like, yeah, I'm not good at that. And it's like, well,
Yeah,
have you even freaking
you'll
tried?
start rationalizing like things that you did, and like, we try to rationalize everything because it's easier on us to do it. Like, um, people do it like you kind of bring in nutrition into the thing. It's just like, well, I ate this so I can have this, and it's like you're just rationalizing. It's like you do that on so many little micro levels throughout the day
Yeah,
on all these different choices, not just nutrition, but like literally everything.
yeah. So like, and it's hard. But okay, how old are you, Kyle?
I am almost 35.
35. So, I mean, it goes into like, there's so many people who are like, my body's breaking down and I'm 30 years old type of thing, right? And some of that's just like, you've just learned that pattern.
Yeah.
And it's like, but even it's like, it's too late for me to learn XYZ. You've started playing guitar. Um, Serviceably, dude. I have a guitar right here. I practice. I like go through spurts. I probably need to create better conditions to actually play because I do want to play some songs, and I think I could play. I can play some chords and I could probably terribly play like one song. But what prompted you to start playing guitar? I don't know. Maybe you played it for a long time, but
No, I haven't. I haven't. I'm a
okay,
very newbie. Now, that's not entirely fair. When I was like 14 years old, I had a guitar and I played it like very badly, a little bit here and there for like 2 years, but like really not at all. And then I don't really know. Like I've always liked music. And kind of referencing back to those times when I was younger, I did get just good enough at guitar to like be able to play a little bit where I started being like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I just never did for like 15 years. And then I've always had the guitars at my house and I just started playing with it one day and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of missed this. And then it just kind of went from there. So I've just kind of been playing again for like 5 or 6 months. But that's the thing is like I have been playing a lot and I make it very easy. Like I have them hanging right here, probably 4 or 5 times a day. I take it off the wall and I play something for between 5 and 10 minutes. Some days I'll play for like an hour at a time when I'm like really wanting to do that. But I bet I take a guitar off of the wall 5 or 6 times a day for a few minutes.
I think that's a really good indicator for behavior change. Is like try to make the behavior you're trying to do as easy as possible. Uh, frequently, right? And when the mood strikes, go harder. Like go harder and figure something
Exactly.
out, right?
Yeah, but
So
like I think I heard it on like a YouTube video that I was watching about like basic guitar for like beginners, and it was just like that thing should be sitting close to you all the time, and you can pick it up at any point. Like it doesn't need to be a thing like where you gotta like plug it in and like get your amp set up. It's like just pick it up and play for like 2 minutes, and like it really, really does add up over time. Um, it's been kind of cool too. It's like I haven't learned something new. That's not entirely true, but like this fitness thing that I've been doing for a long time, it challenges me physically. Um, but I've kind of got all the skills, and now it's just like work capacity, that type of thing. Like, okay, I can do a ring muscle up. Can I do 10 in a row? Can I do 12 in a row? That's just kind of like the same thing, but you're just doing it more. Where like learning guitar is way more intricate, and like it's it's helped me learn how I learn.
yeah, yeah,
Because I'll try different styles of like practicing and that kind of stuff, and like, okay, this seems to really work for me. Why is that? Like, how is it about what is it about my brain that allows me to learn in this process? So it's kind of cool because it has kind of helped me kind of self-reflect on how I learn.
it's also just like learning feels good. It feels hard, and then it feels good, and then it's like you get the reward, right? And like there's a meditative aspect of doing something where you're being really present, right? And like that's a lot of people get that from exercise, which is powerful, right? But I also think there's other avenues that people probably should explore, because the more avenues that you have for that, like, dude, so many people that are successful, I think like they are good at multiple things, and they just learned how they, like you said, they learned how they learn, and then they apply that to new shit, right? Because business is like that. Like, okay, what frustrates me? What scares me? How do I get over that? Right? Same, general thing with a lot of like this fitness stuff. But like learning an instrument, also, like I think there's a few things that really correlate really well with high quality of life, and it's like learning an instrument. Like dancing or playing something like physical activity, but like dancing is really like a powerful one. People who play tennis uh often live, and these are like normative data pieces, right? They're not like, but you just take the principle, like people who play tennis, there's usually a high social component, and there's usually like some skill development, and then competitiveness for a long time, right? And it's the same thing with a lot of this stuff, is like figure out what makes you have fun and challenge you, and good shit will happen, right?
Yeah, I think with tennis too, I think there's like I could see tennis being like a very easy sport to get into that flow state.
Dude, it's
More
fun.
more so than like baseball or something like that, you
Yeah.
know?
Well,
Like,
because you get so many opportunities to hit the ball. If you're playing with somebody, if you're either playing, again, I'm not like, I was playing a lot of tennis. I was going like twice a week to playing like at the university. They have like a skills session before we had Finn, and I need to get back to it. I'm kind of rationalizing it. It's just, it does get tricky to go at like 6:30 at night when that's like wind down time and family time. Um, but it is like you get so many opportunities. A good instructor or a challenging person to play with. It's really fun. You move. It also, dude, like I was trying to get back into rugby a couple years ago, and it's the same thing. It's like just getting the shit kicked out of you, even though it's really fun. Like you got to be able to walk around on Sunday, right? Or in basketball, love basketball. Pulled my ankle super bad and it took me. It's 95% better, but it took me like 6 months to feel like it was working again well, and it's like a year of not being 100%, right? Whereas like tennis, you can have injuries, but they're like you're doing too much too soon, or you're playing a lot, and you can at least control, like you're not getting smoked by somebody else, right? So, anyway, tangential there, but what can you play on guitar? Like, what's your favorite song?
I play a lot of like 2000s, what's called like divorced dad rock now. So like Breaking Benjamin, Three Days
Yeah,
Grace, Seether, that kind of like.
Nickelback or no?
Haven't, I mean, I'm not a huge, I like Nickelback, but like
Nickelback, yeah, I don't mind
probably,
Nickelback.
it's probably similar to that, but
Yeah,
yeah, a
yeah,
lot of
I
that
like it.
stuff. It's simple,
Uh,
it's fun, it's easy to get into a groove and just go. And it's like there's a little bit of instant gratification because it's kind of easy. you can actually like play songs fairly quickly, which keeps it fun. And when you're having fun, then you want to progress to the next thing. Or if I just
Yeah.
started with like the most crazy shit, it's like I'd be, kind of demoralized right away. So
The app that I do use, because I'll get streaky and I'll go, you put it, I'm gonna put this closer to me now, like
yeah,
you've instilled that. I'm gonna put it like it's only 3 feet away, but I'm literally gonna put it like 1 feet away, right? But that guy, the app, he's like, the key is to get playing songs fast, right? Or even if it's just you're playing the chords alongside of a strong song, because you get to feel like that finished product. Whereas like most people
exactly.
just do chords progressions and they're like,
Yep.
this is lame, right? And that's what I did. I think that's one of been the harder thing. Again, like it's rationalization, but it's like, yeah, I was just learning the chords, and it's like, yeah, this isn't fun, right? And you're right, you got to make it fun, especially when you don't necessarily have the peer pressure of overbearing father trying to make you good at something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is it's my choice to learn and suck at this thing for a little while and no one's yelling at me.
All right, last couple questions, just to wrap up. So, uh, making a successful gym. Give me like your three big things that you, again, this was an iterative process, and I think that's the one thing everybody takes, like, hey, my gym's working, great. What was the thing that you did? It's like, well, it was freaking 10, it was 5 years of figuring it out, 5 years of continuously refining. But like, what are the big things that you would say to that you've reflected on and said, this was helpful, this was what helped me, this is what
Yeah.
helped our community?
Yeah, and it's easy to say now that I've kind of got there. I don't know if this is good advice to like 10-year ago me. But it's like quit focusing on your community and focus on the culture that you're creating at your gym. A lot of gyms, especially CrossFit gyms, talk about how they have the absolute best community. A community is just a group of people, and that group of people will leave for various reasons. They move away, they get a new job, they run into financial issues. And if your sole thing is like community and you're focused on those people that are there right now, when those people start leaving, your soul leaves. You focus on the culture that you have control over, how you program, how you relay information, the things that you do in the day to day attract the right community. And if that community leaves because you have a set culture, you will bring back more people that fit that culture and you'll have a community. You'll keep feeding to that community.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. I
Yeah.
heard that piece of advice several years ago and I was like, dude, that makes perfect sense. Especially with like all these gyms talking about like what makes us special? Well, it's our community. And it's like, dude, community is just a group of people. Like that's all that
Yeah.
is. Like, and I guarantee
It,
you that's not what makes it special.
yeah. So one of my favorite books is The Culture Code by Daniel Coyle. Freaking great book. And it's like your culture is what makes the community good. And the culture is created by the people in there, right? And yeah, it's
It's created by
uh
the people in there, like your coaches and
yeah, like the
yes.
leadership, right? Yeah,
Now, I
like
will say, like, especially when you have long-term members, there are some long-term members that really help set the tone of the culture. So not everyone is created equal. There's some people that pull more weight than others.
yeah, and
Um,
that's teams right there, right?
exactly, exactly.
There's identified leaders, and then there's people who are just peer leaders, right, or whatever, right? And
Yeah,
but yeah, like I think that's what so many. I mean, dude, like a lot of people ask me like, oh, how do you have like a successful like virtual, or I do some in person stuff, and but like a lot of it is just I'm pretty much authentically me. Like I'm just putting out things that I are meaningful, and I don't want to float my own boat too much, but like I'm not trying to be something I'm not. And I think
yeah.
that's what a lot of freaking gyms are,
So
right?
you get a yeah. So when people work with you, they get a sense of authenticity. The
Yeah.
memes, all the stuff you create and share, like it feels very you. It doesn't feel like you're putting on a front. It's this consistency of the stuff you're preaching. So that would actually be kind of my second
Yeah.
thing would
Yeah.
be to quit trying to be everything to everybody. Do do what you want to do and what you feel is right. And if that resonates with people, you'll be able to build a business. If it doesn't, then like not all businesses work.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you're gonna like just try to like cater to everybody and like pander, it's not gonna work long term anyway. You might be able to get away with it for a while, but either people are eventually gonna realize you're not authentic and not work with you, or you're going to realize you're not being authentic and true to yourself, and then you're not gonna want to work with you anymore either.
Yeah, dude. That's a huge one. Just even going alongside, you kind of have to have the humility of knowing when some stuff's not working and that you
Hmm.
actually have to change. I think so many people are like, "Oh, this isn't working. What's wrong with it out there?" And it's like, "No, dude. There's probably like you got to change, right? If you want, right?" And some of that is just being authentic and actually, but like getting help, getting outside things, and also filtering that. If you've ever worked with like somebody who's like a business mentor or just a programming mentor or whatever, it's like take the information. This is at least what I found helpful. Take the information, trust that they're coming from a good place with it, but then like put it through your own filter and make sure like it works for you type of thing too,
I
right? So
spent a in 2020 or 2021, I spent a lot of money with a business mentor, and he knew what he was talking about. But the most valuable thing that I got from him is that I did not want to run my business the way that he was not trying to get me to do, but presenting to me
yeah.
to be the most profitable, like selling
Mm.
high ticket and having like very professional, it was very professional is what I was trying to build. And the further I got down that, I realized like the return on my investment of time not only wasn't as profitable as I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So I kind of had like a real talk with myself, and also Peyton helped out a lot with this too, which is just like, dude, I want to run a gym that I would enjoy going to train at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, that's just about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I write all of our programming, I do all of our programming, and it's just kind of like, here's what we're doing, here's why we're doing it. If you want to get on board, you're more than welcome. But like, I'm not trying to be everything to everybody. I'm not trying to offer like, hey, we're great for brand new people who need to lose 100 pounds, but we're also the best methodology if you want to be an Olympian.
For the elite trainer. Yeah, like
Yeah,
dude, I kind of
that's
hate.
bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
We're great for everyday people who want to go from kind of fit or a little out of shape to like pretty fit.
Yeah. I mean, and like so I'll just say just from the like, and man, it's crazy because like from my virtual business side of things fits, especially when it comes to like rehab and then like just smart training. Like you got to have some pretty fucking specific goals a lot of times, or you need some help because you just keep running yourself into a wall, hitting the same injuries or same plateaus, right? But like it is like I kind of hate fitness content. I went to the Arnold because a couple of my lifters competed at the powerlifting meet at the Arnold, and it's like, man, I freaking hate this. It's like glossy, fake, like
Right.
just like a lot of protein farts in the room, terrible. But it's like I don't want that. Like I want people who are okay. Like I'm gonna be in a sweatpants or sweatshirt or no, sorry, just t-shirt and shorts, and like we're gonna freaking work hard and we're gonna have fun. But like this is not the aesthetic dream gym or anything like that, right? Where I think a lot of people get into this field and they're like, I gotta make it super super polished, super super professional. It's like no, just make it real. Like people really, I think in our day and age, at least the people that are gonna be attracted to it, they just want the real thing, and they want people who are honest. And again, like you said too, I would rather have something that works and people love than it be like the most profitable freaking thing. Because the profitable things, like the boot camp gyms, XYZ, quote unquote, not that you're not profitable, but like the boot camp, Barry's boot camp. Again, I shouldn't shit on Barry's. I don't really know that much about him, but like that thing is probably very profitable. But it's also like it's not human. It's like an assembly line,
Yeah.
right? And it's like I just don't want that, and that's okay, right? I know that, right? So, all right, give me your last question. 5 favorite fitness oriented things to do, like movements What do you like? What are like if you only get to do 5 things for the rest of your life, what are those things?
Five? That's a lot. I can do a lot of shit with five
That's fine.
movements.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, you can
Okay.
go.
For the rest of my life, being that like I want to be as fit as possible for as long as possible, also increase longevity. I'm gonna walk.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
acceptable.
gonna I'm gonna do some deadlifts. And probably some strict pull-ups,
Good one.
some push-ups.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do some honestly air squats. Like I'm probably gonna go heavy on deadlifts, like keep that something heavy there, and then we're body weight, push-ups, pull-ups, air squats, and walking. Is walking and
Like,
running saying the same thing?
yeah, you can.
Okay.
I'll give you like a
Yeah.
scoot, like we're scooting around type of
Yeah.
thing. Like,
And
yeah.
honestly, what I just gave you right there is like I just think I could probably stay the most fit for the longest just doing those things. Um, And honestly, that's I just gave you except for the deadlift, you can do all that stuff at home too. You don't even need to come see me at Warrior Strength and Conditioning.
People will come see you because they want to come see you, and that's
Right.
actually a really good business
Have you
model.
ever heard of
But
the term adult fitness entertainment?
no,
That's what we are, dude.
yeah, that's. I mean,
Are you familiar
but
with what's his name? Sean Pastuch, the
that name sounds super familiar.
Active Life?
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
He dude, this was another thing that really helped me too. Is he basically like he's into the physical therapy side of thing, like professional coaching, all of this kind of stuff, like probably a high price point to like work with one of their gyms. And he's like, hey, you just need to decide. He didn't tell me this, he had a post. It was just like, you need to decide if this is what you want to do, like this high level professional thing where you charge $300 to $400 a month, you're doing a hybrid group, PT, that type of stuff. Or do you just want to be adult fitness entertainment? And I was like, I want to be adult fitness entertainment.
Dude, that's dope. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? And it was like kind of those were some of the most important things where I was just like, oh, I'm trying to be something that I don't actually want to be. Like I just want to write good programming and then like have fun interactions with everybody in my gym when I'm coaching.
I mean, so much of I got a PT degree because part of it is like I need to do I wanted to start a gym, or I wanted to have a gym at like 25 years old, right? Like my parents were a little risk averse and I was risk averse, right, to some extent. I got my credential because I went through the classic arc of, oh, there's got to be something special. And the special is that I have learned a lot about physiology, I've learned a lot about psychology. I'm really good at progressing and regressing people's training. Now, I also think that if you had the right cocktail of information and knowledge and experience, you could get to the same level I'm at without getting a doctorate and spending $100,000+, right? But there's also a lot of this is the magic fix, this is the tool, this is the type of thing you need to do in our field, right? Both fitness and rehab, or whatever you want to call it, training, rehab training, fitness. But most of it boils down to like if you're getting things generally right. Like I have a couple people that are like they're my interns right now, which is wild to me. They're interning, they're learning. And I gave them the same person and I said make a program that will start to move this person in the direction of their goals. So same person, same goals, very different programs, right? Both of them would work
Probably will
if
work
they
just fine.
execute right.
Yeah.
They would both work.
Yeah.
And your exercises, like if I wonder what I would do if I could totally stop myself from comparing myself to other people. I just knew that like I'd like to train, and I think I'm moving in that direction. But like, there's still an element of like, if I'm gonna compete in Olympic lifting of meets, I still want to like do well for me, and I still kind of want to beat people. Um, and or if I'm gonna run a race, I still want to do well for me, and I want to compete and beat other people. But how, like, if I had no social comparison and I just did not give a shit, I just knew training was good for me and that I enjoyed it, like, what would I do?
Yeah.
And it would probably boil down to, like you said, some form of long duration cardio, like running, walking, with a ruck, or
Yep.
biking. Biking's fucking fun, dude. Let's be
Yep.
honest, biking's amazing.
Yep.
um some form of a heavy, like probably deadlift too, would probably be up there. I'd probably front squat. And
Okay. I was
then
like, you're copying me. You're copying me.
no, I said front squat. You said
Okay,
body weight
okay.
squat. You said air squat. I said front squat. Um, and then it would probably, dude, you probably chin ups. I'd probably say chin ups
Oh,
is
you're not copying me because you flipped the grip?
yeah. And then it would probably be fucking playing basketball, dude. Would probably be the
Okay, that was a curveball. I like that.
yeah, like tennis
Actually
or
putting in an
basketball.
activity of a sport. Okay.
Yeah, because there is just that level of playing and reactivity of that type of thing that I think that is one of the things that I think people miss a little bit is how fun. Dude, do you have a spike ball net in your gym?
Yeah.
Do you play
Never
all
used
the
it.
time?
It's out in the shipping container. No, it hasn't been used for 6 years.
Dude, you got to get that fucker
No,
out.
they are fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some
It's just it is hard if the dynamic is like some people want to do this and some people don't, right? And like
yeah.
there is an element of
Those are
that. So,
super fun set up on like sand, like a sand volleyball court.
yeah.
Playing those in sand is a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that is something I think I'm feeling it with guitar right now, but like getting into some sort of a sport that's easily accessible that you can get playing, because that is probably something I'm missing in my life and my training is like playing
Yeah.
some sport.
It's like I think the hard part is like it's okay to be bad, right? It's okay to be bad at it. I mean, I know you shoot and like do stuff like that too, and that's
Yeah,
also fun and enjoyable, but like the playing with another person type of thing is fun. So, yeah.
yeah,
All right, dude. Well, where can people find you? If you want people to find you, maybe you don't want people to find you,
yeah.
but
Don't find
where
me. No, you can. We have Warrior Strength and Conditioning on all social medias.
sweet. I appreciate it. I'll link that in the show notes and I'll get this
Cool.
out probably next week. So,
Cool.
man, appreciate your time.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me on. All right,
Peace everybody.
David. Bye bye.